Hi, I'm Tarinder. You're watching Hexus TV. On the day the World Cup kicks off in South Africa, I'm here with Patrick from NVIDIA. We're going to talk about 3D vision. Patrick, you guys launched 3D vision 18 months ago. You seem to be relaunching it now. So what's changed?
Actually, the reason feels like it's been relaunched is that there's so much that's been added to the ecosystem, which makes a big difference. I think from the beginning we've seen a lot of people experiencing gaming in 3D with 3D vision, but what's happening recently is that there's a lot of other sources of content that has become available.
So 3D vision is more than just gaming?
Definitely.
Okay, so name them. What can we do with 3D?
Well, for example, just this week, the first 3D Blu-ray movie has been released in Germany, and a couple of days from now, next week, the UK will also get the first 3D Blu-ray movie to ship. So this is going to become another source of content that's going to become available as to experience in 3D, and the latest drivers from NVIDIA are already ready to support that new format.
If we go back to the tech side, what does somebody need to have a 3D vision ready PC?
That would be three components. First, you need the glasses. Even if people would like to be able to experience 3D without the glasses, you need glasses.
And why do you guys use active shutter glasses as opposed to the very cheap red and cyan glasses?
Because you want to have the best quality. There's a big difference in quality if you do not have the active glasses like the one we have. If you want to have passive glasses, it might be a little bit cheaper. You do compromise a lot in quality by reducing the colors, reducing the resolution. So the glasses is the first element that you need to be able to experience in 3D. You also need to have a GPU that's fast enough to generate the content in stereo. So we have that.
And that literally means doing twice the work.
Pretty much that's what it is, and that's why we've originally we had this on the high-end GPUs, and we now have that across a much larger portion of our graphics processors. And then the final aspect, the third aspect you need is a 3D capable, 3D vision enabled display in order to be able to have something that can synchronize with the source, the glasses, and the display. All of those three elements needs to be synchronized together, and these are the components that you need to have in addition to your PC to make it a 3D vision enabled PC.
Right, so with 3D screens, we've seen quite a few companies, large companies, Sony, Tosh, launch TVs which are 3D capable. How does that fit into your ecosystem? Because you're primarily a PC company, whereas that's more consumer electronics.
Correct. So this is another option that has is becoming available for the users in case you want to experience 3D on a wider, bigger display. There's a couple of manufacturers such as Panasonic, Samsung, and now soon Sony that have announced or are releasing 3D TVs, and we have worked to create a special interface that will allow the users to connect their PCs to those 3D TVs and actually use the glasses that comes with those 3D TVs. It requires some work on our side to enable that, but this is something we have announced. It's called 3D TV Play, and this is something that will be part of our drivers later this summer.
Right. We talked about playing games, obviously. You talked about movies. Can we do everything in 3D? There's been 3D pictures in other parts of the ecosystem. So what else is there? Can the whole world be turned into 3D?
It is actually, not everything can be done in 3D. There's, as of now, maybe in the future. Another aspect of the technology that can be experienced in 3D is photos. And there's two ways of doing it. You can take a photo camera that has two lenses, and one of those camera that has been released is the Fujifilm camera. It has two lenses, take pictures in stereo, and our photo viewer is compatible with that camera. If you do not have a new camera that has those two lenses, it is actually possible to take a single lens camera and either take two pictures or take two cameras on a single tripod and take two images that can then be combined and experienced in 3D. The key aspect is to be able to view the content in 3D, and what's happening now is that there are multiple sources of content that are becoming available in addition to the game.
How big do you see 3D becoming? Obviously, we spoke about it 18 months ago that you first launched 3D Vision.
Yes.
Now it's 3D Vision and Vision Surround.
Yes.
So by this time next year, if we were to speak again, what else, where do you see the industry going?
Well, first is going to be a bigger percentage of the users that are going to have PCs that are capable of doing 3D because there's a lot more content that's becoming available. There's some studies that people have been predicting that within the next 5 years, the majorities of the PCs that will be sold will actually be 3D capable. In the past, if you go back 10 years ago, only a certain number of the PCs were able to do video playback. Mm-hmm. And then today, we have to agree that pretty much every PC can do video playback. I believe it's going to be the same, that very soon there's going to be the same thing happening where pretty much all the PCs will have to be 3D enabled, otherwise people are not going to buy them.
And just to recap, why is your system better than anybody else's, you believe?
Well, there's two aspects, I would say. full quality, full resolution, and content. And let me explain quickly both of them. Because we, as I mentioned earlier, we use active glasses. That means that each of the eyes is fed with the full resolution content. The second aspect, which I think is explaining why we have so many games available on the market, is because the stereo effect is created at the driver level. That means that the game does not have to be rewritten in order to be provided to the user in 3D. We have 450 of those games and growing that have been approved to be compatible in 3D. All of this because we do it at the driver level, the game remains the same. Actually, a lot of people have been telling us that they play some of those games that had already played, they take them back from the shelves, remove the dust a little bit and play them again because they believe that 3D gave them an experience that they didn't have the first time they played the game.
Right. But 3D requires lots of horsepower. As we said, it's about doing something twice. Now, you've got 3D vision surround, primarily for gaming. Can you explain that and what the requirements are?
So because of the high processing power that has been included in the latest generations of our graphics card, the codenamed Fermi or the GTX 470 and 480, we've raised the bar in terms of performance. We've pretty much doubled the performance of what you had at the high-end graphics. So because we had that such a great level of performance, computing performances, we were able to enable 3D on 3 display. So this is what the technology we call
sorry to butt in there, but you require 2 cards to do it because your cards don't have the necessary outputs to do it through 1 card.
That, and also because if you want to have a certain, because don't forget we do 2 images per screen, that's kind of processing 6 screen. That's technically what has to be done at the basic level. This requires a lot of processing power. Potentially, technically, we may have been able to enable that on a single card as well, but then you may have had to sacrifice in terms of performance by reducing the display resolution or reducing some of the graphic elements to make sure you're able to sustain with 1 GPU the capabilities on 3 screens. So the implementation we have today requires 2 cards for a couple of reasons. Maybe in the future it could become available on a single card. We haven't announced that yet.
Right. So those are the details of 3D. But Patrick, in 1 paragraph, sell me 3D from NVIDIA.
Well,
why should I buy it?
Well, I'll tell you why I think it changes a lot for me. It allows me to see the things in a different perspective, and even things that were existing in the past, I don't even have to wait for new things in the future. It is something where I believe with the effect of Avatar, which created a major effect where everybody was going back to the movies, I think stereo is something on a PC that will make your PC becoming something that you just didn't think it would be.
Okay. So Patrick loves 3D. We're going to test it out in the Hexus labs very, very soon. But until then, check back for more from Hexus TV.